Welcome to the 3 Knockdown Rule. Starring Mario Lopez and Steve Kim. Presented by Hustler Casino.
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. It's fun. It's funny. I break this guy's balls. His wig looks crazy every week, but it's still worth doing it. Check out these badass shirts we got right now. Check it out.
Even though Mario's on it, you'll still learn something, and it's still some insightful analysis. And then I bring the funny, and I don't know what he brings.
No.
What are you talking about? I'm the star of the show here.
You bring the grumpy.
Oh, but the grumpy. Anyway, like and subscribe.
Yes,
3
please.
Knockdown Rule.
We appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 Knockdown Rule is in effect, brought to you by Hustler Casino. I'm Steve Kim, joined by Madison Square Garden, Mario Lopez. Welcome back. You almost didn't make it in.
Bro, New York is on a sick one right now with this crazy storm. I got in at 2 in the morning. I'm actually feeling surprisingly well. More on that later. Quick shout out to Smokin' Tim Frazier.
We've got a very special show, the bout sheet for this 3 Knockdown Rule. We talk about victory boots in Philly, and then finally joining us on the championship hotline, the man himself, Mr. Dana White.
You know, before we get to Dana, what if I told you that I can get you set up with the absolute best price and customer service for GLP-1? LifeRx charges just $250 per month flat. No membership fees. Price never goes up. Even your dosage changes. There's no prepaying, no auto billing. I know there are a lot of providers out there, but honestly, this is the best pricing you're going to find. And they have top-notch customer service. Thousands of 5-star reviews. All kinds of success stories. They ship straight to your door, all via telehealth. So listen, if you're on a GLP-1 journey, if you're thinking about starting one, then you are not hearing this by accident. Just talk to them. Tell them Mario sent you.
And also, are you looking to get involved in the 3 Knockdown Rule like the Hustler Casino? Well, you should call them. But this podcast is brought to you by Hustler Casino. Starting September 1st, all Cal Game jackpots are doubling in size every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, all day long. Do you love Baccarat, 3-card poker, blackjack, and other Cal games? Now's the perfect time to play and win double the jackpot. Stop by and get in the game and see how big you can win at Hustler Casino, or find out more at hustlercasino.com.
Round 1.
All right, let's kick things off here. Saturday night from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, PA, on the zone. For the WBA Interim Junior Middleweight Championship of the World is Jerron Boots Ennis with a spectacular first-round knockout over Lima time. Mario, do we give him credit for looking spectacular, or does he get criticism for fighting a guy that most people did not know of coming into this weekend?
No, we give him credit. It's his first time fighting at junior middleweight. He looked terrific as he jumped up in weight. I think he's going to be better than ever at this weight class. You don't want to jump too deep into these waters first fight out, but I think he now can as far as the next step. He personally called out Virgil Ortiz, would love to absolutely see that fight, and I think he's right in the mix with Murtazaev, Ortiz, Fundura, all those guys. I think one time you get in there, but he's been around long enough, he's been idle long enough that now we've got to see some showdowns.
He's 28 years old with 35 fights. So I don't want to hear like with Munguia, well, he's still developing. You know, folks, after about 40 fights, the developmental period is over. And I've said for at least, 4 or 5 years, Jerron Ennis is one of the most naturally gifted physical talents in the sport. I am still a believer, but I do understand some of the derision. Now, earlier in that week, I think Thursday or Friday, Eddie Hearn was quoted on ESPN as saying, oh, no, mate, the deal's done. Okay, it's done on their end. I spoke to Eric Gomez, and they're saying, yes, there have been talks, but we still have a fight November 8th where Virgil Ortiz has to fight Erickson Lubin. Now, should Virgil get past that, I believe that there should be really no impediments for making this showdown happen in the first quarter of 2026.
I agree, and that's a tough fight, by the way.
Yes.
It's not a gimme. If you're going to compare resumes, as talented as Ennis is, I got to say, I think kind of lean towards Ortiz as far as having a bit more of an impressive resume compared to Boots Ennis. Do you agree?
Virgil does not have the belts, but he has the better victories.
Here's the thing.
Bottom line.
The fight we most want to see, ironically,
Non-title.
is a non-title fight with Boots and Virgil Ortiz. Isn't that odd? And the winner of that fight, I think, again, ironically, would be considered the man in that division with no belt. Fair statement?
Well, it would be a interim unification bout, but those don't matter.
Those don't matter. And
right.
it's just, that's the irony here.
And I thought, look, Jerron Boots Ennis, I will say this. When you're in a fight of this nature, don't let it go 36 minutes. In fact, just let it go 2 or 3 minutes. And it was about 2 minutes. He looked spectacular. The hand speed, the combination, the rhythm, the fluidity, the power, the finishing output. I loved it, okay? Because bottom line is, it allowed me to get back to college football really fast. So thank you, Boots.
Now, listen, at the same time, his opponent was not of the upper elite, and he wasn't the toughest guy in the world, but nonetheless, it was still very impressive. He was still a guy that came to win, and I think Boots felt comfortable with that weight class enough to start calling people out. We're seeing a more vocal Boots. We're seeing a Boots that I think knows that the clock is ticking. So hopefully we'll see those matchups.
Look, I'll stand by this. I think Lima was a solid, tough, decent fighter. I think he froze a little bit and then he got caught. And once you get caught early with a guy like Boots with his hand speed and his finishing instinct, it's almost like being in a riptide. You can't get out of it. The reality is Lima was rated by 3 of the sanctioning bodies. Okay, now here's the thing. You listed all the really good belt holders at 154. Keep this in mind. I don't want to be Captain Buzzkill here or Buzz Killington. This is for the WBA interim junior middleweight title, which is another fancy way of saying you're going to be mandatory, so we're going to take a little bit of that sanctioning fee by putting that belt to it. The WBA champion is a guy that almost nobody knows of from a casual standpoint in America. Abbas Barau, or Baru.
God bless you.
Boots, you know I'm a fan. There are other guys out there. Eddie Hearn has set the table. I believe Eric Gomez is willing to do the fight on his end, as with Oscar De La Hoya. If you take Barau or Barrow, you really do need to take some heat at that point, do they not? Because that is low-hanging fruit.
People will be saying, Barrow.
Barrow.
It would be a bad look because he's been already calling out Virgil, and it'll look like a duck because he's been calling him out and find some excuse. He'll come up with some excuse if he does end up facing Barrow. Playing fantasy judge for a second, who do you lean towards that fight?
Right now, still Boots. You don't, huh?
Well, no, honestly, that's about as 50-50 of a fight as they come, to be honest. Because, again, Virgil, I think, has had the more impressive victories. He's been at the weight class for a while.
Oh, that sounds like a fight we just talked about for months. Canelo Crawford.
Well,
remember, resumes don't win fights. Fighters win fights, and their abilities and their skill and their style.
Correct, but the difference here is we've got 2 young guys in the thick of their prime, as opposed to the situation.
38 and 35?
Yes.
Here it's 28 and 27.
Well, there you go.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. Right in the thick of their prime. So I talk about a pick-em fight. I think it's a very, very even fight, flip of the coin kind of deal.
And if I'm the zone, I flat out tell Golden Boy and I tell Matchroom, hey guys, you know how we give you all this money? Yeah, we're not giving you any more money for either of these guys until they face one another. That's the way HBO and Showtime would have theoretically have done it back in the day. Mario, before we get going here, I want to mention this. The passing of Alex Walu. At the age of 80, for years he had throat cancer. He survived it. Growing up, I thought he was just a guy that did boxing. He was the announcer. First partner of Jim Lampley, but eventually him and Dan Deerdorf became a great team on ABC. And this is a guy that was a real boxing guy. He was the one who investigated the corruption in the Don King tournament of 1977. He was a guy that actually was the consultant or the guardian at the gate for ABC. So in other words, if a promoter said, hey, how do you like this fight? He'd either say, I like it and I don't, and this is how much I'm going to give for it. Eventually, I didn't know this, he became the full-fledged president of ABC Network. So this guy was a player, passed away at the age of 80, a true boxing guy and a guy that gave so much to the sport of boxing. He will be missed. Rest in peace to Alex Walu. All right, we come back. Scheduled to join us is the man himself, Dana White, on the 3 Knockdown Rule.
Streaming live right on YouTube.
Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
$1.2 million.
And I'm losing in this fucking game. What the fuck?
There's a 400K flip. If I win by way, you get 10 grand.
Fucking straddle!
For my fans!
Why? I read it twice!
all in a call.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Raise it up.
And we're back on the 3 knockdown rule. And Mario, we've been trying to get this guy for at least a year. A very special guest on the championship hotline.
Well, my God.
It took Mario a year to get. That's bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit on that right now.
Wow.
That's bullshit.
Okay.
All Mario's got to do is call, and here I am. I'm a little late, but I'm here.
No, you are here, my friend. And more on that. He's busy. I'm busy. We're all busy here, man. I don't want to bother my man.
We'll cover it in the post-show meeting.
Of course, we're talking about the CEO and president of the UFC, the owner of Power Slap, and now the man who's running Zuffa Boxing. He's out here conquering the world. My friend, Mr. Dana White. What's
up, boys?
Man?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time, Dana. Yeah, man, I've been wanting, but like I said, the schedule and stuff, it's great. But you're here.
Okay.
Here's your thing. I want to jump right into it, Dana. Your vision for TKO. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, you start from the bottom, and you start to build the sport back up from the ground up. Turn it into a business like we did the UFC. And what I mean when I say that is restoring faith in boxing fans that when you tune in, you're going to get a good product from the first fight of the night to the last fight of the night. The best will fight the best. The live event on television will be amazing, and the live event in-house will be a great experience.
Here's the thing, Dana, and correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things I love about, there's many things I love about the UFC, but one of the things is the fans themselves are very savvy and smart in the sense that you have fighters, many of your fighters who are headlining got 10, 12 losses, and it's irrelevant. And it doesn't hurt their star power because they know the best are fighting the best. And guess what? Sometimes you lose. That's just what happens.
Yep.
Elite competition, but it doesn't affect their popularity, their brand. That is not the case, unfortunately, in boxing. How can we change that mentality or educate the fan? Is it just something we just got to start doing little by little?
Yeah, I think that I actually learned from boxing on that one. Arturo Gatti kept signing big HBO deals even after losses. You know why? Because people liked the way Arturo Gatti fought. They liked his mindset. They liked his heart. I said the best are going to fight the best. Losses probably won't matter as long as people fight their asses off. That's what people care about. People want to see great fights. If you commit a Saturday to staying home or flying somewhere and watching it live, the only thing that matters is you get up out of your seat at the end and say, I'm so glad I watched this tonight. I didn't waste a Saturday night. I didn't waste money. I didn't waste time. And that's how I used to feel when I was a big boxing fan. Every time I would turn the TV off, I was like, damn, they got me again. Cards sucked, fights sucked, production sucked. A few years ago, let's see, Dana, I think my son Dana was 19. So it was like 4 years ago when Tyson Fury fought Wilder. The fight was at the MGM, and I took him. And if you'd have told me when I was younger, my son's first live boxing match would be when he was 19, I'd say, you're crazy. There's no way. It's impossible. He'll be going when he's 3. He was at the UFC when he was 3. But we went to this fight completely disorganized, no security, no ushers to tell you where people were sitting in my seats, and it was an absolute shit show. My son looks at me at the end of the fight and goes, Dad, this is terrible. I don't ever want to come to one of these again. And I said, yeah, I feel you.
That's the thing. We've talked about it a lot, too. It says, prior to you making your official foray into boxing, we're like, damn it, man, boxing's got to learn from the UFC because the production is so tight. They keep the fights. We've timed it. What is it?
Well, Dana, we've actually watched your shows, and we've made it a point, because I've said the one thing about boxing, I don't need a halftime show between every 8-round fight. I think it's ridiculous.
They do a fight, and then there's a podcast, and then they do another fight, and there's another podcast.
And then the main event's at 2 o'clock Eastern time, AM. Your fights generally take about 10 to 12 minutes in between on average. Boxing's about 20 to 25. I think it's ridiculous. I think the timing mechanism has to be better. Here's the question. With the Paramount deal that's kicking off next year, what can we expect from that series, Dana?
Yeah, so I say it all the time. I was a big USA's Tuesday Night Fights fan. I never missed a fight on Tuesday. You know, the matchmaking was always great. The guys that they had on the cards were the guys who became the pay-per-view stars of the 90s. And it's literally what I modeled the UFC after. So when you look at the way the UFC was built, I took all the things that I love from boxing and all the things that I hated about boxing and built the UFC. I will do the same exact thing with Zuffa Boxing.
Now, in terms of your organization, what is the goal in terms of how many fighters do you need under your umbrella to get this thing to be a turnkey operation?
So we're still figuring out, you know, there's obviously a lot of work to be done in the next several months. Right now, if you think about it, we've been doing this for 25 years, and we have probably 700 and change under contract with us right now. So, you know, to pull off the amount of fights that we're going to do with Paramount, it'll obviously be a lot less, but you have to account for injuries, timing of guys, personal stuff, and not wanting to fight. So we'll probably start off with a couple hundred guys under contract.
And as far as working with other promoters, is that something that you consider, Dana, when need be? Because it seems like that you coming into the sport is just, it's kind of like that expression, high tide raises all vessels. But there's always somebody that doesn't want to get it, that doesn't want to fix. Like Eddie Hearn comes out with some crazy shit. Your thoughts on that, by the way, your rebuttal to the comments that you made last week.
Well, it's fascinating. Eddie Hearn all of a sudden is acting like a fucking lunatic. You know what he sounds like to me? He sounds like he's reading a WWE script every time he talks on a show now. It's a fascinating thing because I've known Eddie for a while, and this isn't Eddie's personality. But the other thing is when you hear somebody like Eddie talk, it reminds me of a career politician. You know, he's running for election now, and he's like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do this. Well, where were you the last fucking 20 years? You didn't do shit. And now I'm getting in. I'm going to do these fights, and now you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Those guys never thought big. It's just not the way they think. It's not the way they run their business. And you know, all of a sudden now Eddie's going to change boxing, and he's going to fix this, and he's going to do that, and he's going to compete with me, and he's going to do all this shit. I don't even think about those guys, what they're doing, how they're doing it. I get in, I keep my head down, grind, and do my thing, and we'll see where we end up in 5 years.
Dana, I've said for years, I think those in boxing the past 35 years, it's like politics. I don't think they actually want to change anything. I think they like the status quo while bitching about it, but exploiting it. I'll give you an example. I like Eddie. He's done a lot of good fights, but the fact that him and Frank...
I like Eddie too.
And he's a very charming guy, but this is what I found amazing. When Turki Alalshikh did the 5 versus 5, I did not know that Frank Warren, who's like his Don King to his Bob Arum, for 30 years they never worked together. And I'm thinking to myself, did anyone ever think about the fans? You know how many great fights in the UK we could have had between those two companies, but those two guys, they had a contest. You know what type of contest I'm talking about. Never once thought about the fans. What is your sell, though, to the managers? The modern-day manager, to me, they are all about mitigating risk. None of them don't want to take tough fights. What is the sales pitch in terms of the TKO organization that you give them?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have a sales pitch, but at the end of the day, the way that this works is it's like the Muhammad Ali Act, too, with what we're doing there. Not one word is going to be changed, not one thing. There's just going to be an add-on to the Muhammad Ali Act. And you can, if you're a fighter, you can stay exactly under the way it is now, or you can come bet on me and come and fight in our organization. And there's going to be plenty of options. You can fight for Frank. You can fight for Eddie. You can fight for all these other guys, and everything stays exactly the same. Nothing will change. Muhammad Ali Act will be intact, and same thing, or you can come fight for me.
Dana, I've been covering boxing for about 30 years. I actually wrote an article about 25 years ago. I called the Ali Act the toothless tiger. I've talked to managers and promoters. It's never really actually protected fighters. People think it's like this legislation that
weaponized it.
They kind of weaponized it, right? My question is, why have you become the face of the Ali Act or trying to get rid of it? Do you think some of this has to do with stuff that has nothing to do with the actual business of boxing? Maybe it's attack.
I'm definitely not trying to get rid of it. we're going to add on to it. I think that the Ali Act was done with the right intentions. It just, just because it was put in place doesn't mean it works and doesn't mean it fixes anything. It actually complicated a lot of things. And here's the reality. What you need is, if you look at where boxing was and what it's gotten to now, it got to a place where it took Saudi Arabia money to make any fights that you might want to see. It's not sustainable. You can't do that long term. And since the beginning of time until the end of time, you're always going to have guys that want to be in the fight business. It's a badass business. It's fun. It's sexy. And everybody thinks, oh, it'll be so great until you get in the fucking business. And let me tell you what, it is a brutal business. All right. But at the end of the day, what you want is, like the UFC, if you look at what we've done, people want to invest in the UFC. People want to put their money in the UFC and be a part of it. But when you put money up, you also want a return, right? Boxing is at a point where we're at the last nail in the coffin. I know people have been called for the demise of boxing forever, but it takes Saudi money that makes no sense to put on these type of fights that people want to see. It's not sustainable. You can't do that forever. And Sheikh Turki is obviously very passionate about the sport. He's done incredible things in a very short amount of time. But if you don't turn it into a real business, it is not sustainable.
That was my next question, actually, in dealing with His Excellency, Turki Alalshikh. He is passionate. He seems quite knowledgeable. How involved is he, Dana, in the dealings? Does he sort of just describe what he likes and you execute it, or is it a day-to-day sort of check-in, or what's that relationship like?
Well, he's very involved. And like Eddie Hearn, which was fucking hilarious, where Eddie Hearn's like, he didn't come up with this fight. He didn't create Canelo. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Where have you fucking seen me running around going, I came up with this idea? No, I got thrown into this thing. We did the entire business side of this fight, other than making the fight and paying Canelo and Crawford. We did everything. We cut the deal for the venue. We cut the deal for the TV deal. We did everything. Where did I ever fucking say? What I said was, Eddie, 3 of the biggest fights in history, I've been a part of 2 of them. That's what I said. And say I fucking came up with Canelo Crawford. I made it and all this shit. Somebody is writing him a WWE script, and he just sounds fucking ridiculous because, like I said, he's a 20-year fucking politician coming in now talking about how he's going to fucking change everything and how he's going to do this and that. You're not going to do jack shit.
That really is a great analogy.
Dana, speaking of this being a tough business, no joke. How do you make $10 million in boxing?
How?
Start off with 100. I mean, that's kind of the reality of this thing. But so, Dana, I've read for years, I saw some of your comments where even like years ago, you said, I'm going to get into boxing. I'm going to get into boxing. And you didn't. But you pulled the trigger now. Why?
Everything is about timing and just my gut. A lot of stuff I do is off my gut, and now is the time. Now is the time.
Dana,
there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to lay them out publicly. You know what I mean? I'm gonna, and you don't hear me running around, doing fucking interviews talking about Eddie. I mean, I'm talking to you about Eddie because you guys are in the business. You know about it. You're hearing all this shit. The mainstream people don't hear what Eddie Hearn's talking about or any of that stuff. It's too inside, inside baseball, but he's reading a script. Somebody's writing a script for him and he's executing badly.
Well, let me put this into perspective. When you talk about boxing, is it dead? I've heard that for 30 years, but from the beginning of the Gillette Sports Cavalcade of Sports, which I believe was on NBC, to the ending of the ESPN Top Rank deal this summer, that means for the first time in 80 years, the United States does not have a regular long-term national boxing broadcast on any platform. So when people say boxing's healthy, I'm thinking, No, it's really not. It's actually at a low ebb. And I think what's something that Dana's White said for years that I parrot, they treat every event as a going out of business sale. You don't know how many times I said, hey, guys, if we put the fight here, you might create a new fan base. And everything's like, yeah, but this casino's giving us more money. Yep. They've never built anything. So when the people complain about new money coming in, I say, hey, guys, you had 40 years to do this. You've built nothing. That is kind of the truth here. The map.
Absolutely the truth. Absolutely the truth. And when we started the UFC, right, the only place you took fights was Atlantic City and Las Vegas because that's where the money was. They would pay you to come do it. Sometimes New York, sometimes LA. But we took it everywhere. We started traveling. We built a live event that had great energy. I knew if people came into the live event, they would walk out and say, nobody walks out and says, I don't ever want to see one of these again, right? So you start to grow the fan base, and that's the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to travel this thing to places and cities that you normally wouldn't.
That's awesome. That was one of my questions. Oh, that is great.
But right now, LA has not had a big fight in boxing for at least a year. New York is sporadic. There used to be a time in the 50s and 60s. Chicago was a fight town. Philadelphia was a fight. Miami was a fight town.
Right.
Now we've lost
small markets like Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, look, Albuquerque with Johnny Tapia,
Sure.
Bismarck, North Dakota with Virgil Hill. But we lost it because we took everything. We took the short-term money. We never had a long-term vision. Dana,
every one of those places that you just said, the UFC kills it.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Dana, can you have when you run an organization and it's a passion, and obviously the UFC and MMA is a passion for you, and now you're in the boxing. Can you slap? And slap. So that's three passions.
Well, that's the other thing. Think about this. If you look at, and you know, people talk shit, talk all the shit you want. Slap has been a fucking real business since day one. Since day one. So if you look at what we've done in the last 2.5 years with Slap, imagine what we could do with boxing that actually has millions and millions of fans around the world. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Do you have the energy to fulfill both passions?
Do I have the energy? Yeah, okay. I better.
Yeah.
I bit off a lot. I have a lot of work to do. It's funny you say that though. I just turned 56 this summer. If you'd have told me when I was 36 that I'd be busier when I was 56, there's no way I would have believed it. But it's a fact. I have a lot of shit to do in the next 5 years. But I can tell you this: I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Dana and I always talk about we talked about a little earlier. The country of Japan has over 150,000 people that are living over the age of 100 right now.
Ooh.
That's pretty damn significant and pretty impressive. I think I posted a meme. I said, if a fucking snapping turtle can live to 200 years, why can't we? Yeah. So we got a lot of time, my friend. We are just hitting our stride right now. I'm just curious, growing up, what's your Mount Rushmore of favorite fighters growing up?
Oh, wow. Obviously, Tyson, you know, the whole for our generation, Tyson was just the energy that guy pumped into the sport of boxing and the awareness globally of the sport. And he's one of my all-time favorites and probably the reason that I loved fighting as much as I did. I was a big Holyfield fan, too. Obviously, Muhammad Ali is a no-brainer. As you walk through the UFC hallways here in the executive level, Ali and Tyson are everywhere up here.
Yeah.
And then, there are just so many guys that I love. Hagler, 1987, I was a senior in high school when he fought Leonard. And I taped that fight on a VHS tape and watched it 250,000 times. So
Great. Those are great for there.
Dana, we have a running debate. How do you rank the Rocky movies? The first 5.
Me and the president have debated this more times than I would actually like to say. The president says Rocky 1, which everybody says, oh, well, that's just common sense. Of course it's Rocky 1. But that's bullshit. Rocky 3 was incredible. I love Rocky 3.
That's my strong second. I'm with the president, but that's my strong second. And a case can be made because the way it covers the success, not having anything. That it just struck. That's a lot of fighters' favorite too.
Rocky 2, the way he had to face your 15
He likes
minutes.
Rocky too. I'm like, come on.
It's slower. I love that scene with the dun 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 and the ambulance was going through Philly. But in Rocky 3 had the greatest line I've ever heard. And trainers say this. They said the worst thing happened to you, Rock, that could happen to a fitter. And he goes,
got civilized.
You got
Civilized. Yep.
It is so true.
And I got bad news for you. Rocky 2 is the worst one.
We're on the same
Wait a
page.
minute.
That's what I told them. Rocky 2 is the
Hold
worst.
on.
That's the
Dana, you ever heard of Rocky 5? You know, I don't know if I trust you with boxing.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust you with this whole thing.
He gives that great speech though to his son. Hey, life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. That speech salvages the movie.
You know, Rocky Cunningham's brother in Happy Days. Remember when he went upstairs and he never came? Yeah, Chuck, how Chuck never came back. It's out of our thing. Dana, what if you weren't doing this? What do you think you'd be doing with your life right now as a career?
I'd be doing the same thing I was doing before this popped up. I'd be in I'd be training guys and training. I'd be in the training business, training, boxing, not MMA. I'd be boxing training.
I say he's a fan. He's a fan.
He'd be
First and foremost, which is awesome. What's been the funniest thing ever said about you?
Ooh, that's a good one. The funniest thing ever said about me. There's so much shit on the internet that cracks me up. There's some good ones. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but I got my head of PR and my head of social media in here. I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff. Listen, the internet is a gold mine, man. Like they say, the internet is undefeated. But there's tons of great shit out there.
Dana, on behalf of the Miami Hurricane fan base, we saw you out there at the Notre Dame game. I know your daughter now is part of the U. I'm going out there Friday for the Louisville game. The fan base would rip me if I didn't ask you this. Will you be making a sizable donation to the NIL fund? Because Jack is graduating next year. We're going to need a new quarterback.
More than likely, the answer is yes. I went to my first game, the Notre Dame game, and I met everybody and started to, I think I'm getting positioned to get hit up for. I see it coming. I see the writing on the wall. But it's funny. So I'm huge Boston Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox. I've never been a fan of a college team ever. So this is like my first college experience, and I'm really looking forward to it. And could I come in at a better time? I mean, they're ranked number 2.
I know.
Soon to be number 1.
Yep, I love it.
Last question, buddy, because I know you're a busy man. The date for the UFC event at the White House, I believe, is now like on President Trump's birthday.
Yep, Flag Day.
Flag Day. Will that be I was thinking about it. Will that be the toughest credential to get as far as in the ticket? How does that work with the screen?
Yeah, there's no doubt. We don't have that all figured out yet, but I was telling these guys when we were in there talking and at the White House about how it's going to be laid out and how we could do this. I'm like, listen, I don't give a shit if there's one guy there, him. It could just be one seat and just him. I don't care. So this isn't an event that I'm worried about tickets or thinking about tickets or a gate or any of that stuff. I don't care about any of it. But yes, it's going to be a very tough credential to get.
Well, for just throwing it out there, the Lopez's have passed the
security clearance.
For the White House, so we'll represent well if we're honored to do so.
And
well, congrats.
Dana, I know we have to agree on this. We don't agree on Rocky 2, but Hagler did beat Leonard in '87, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, that's
yes. And let me just say too, I know Sugar Ray Leonard. He's a great guy and everything else. I watched that fight 250,000 times, and yes, I thought Hagler won the fight.
We think so over here as well.
But I might be biased. I was a massive Hagler fan, so.
So, Dana, in about 3 years, when Mario gets to it, we want to have you back on the show.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah.
Hey, I so appreciate you taking the time, buddy, and look forward to seeing you soon.
I appreciate you guys. Good talking to you.
You too. Take care, man.
And we'll be back with more of the 3 Knockdown Rule.
forged. Every challenge is an opportunity. Every setback, a lesson. But this is not just about winning. This is about turning the ordinary into the extraordinary and becoming undisputed. Available now.
And we're back on the 3 Knockdown Rule. And folks, are you looking to get involved with the 3 Knockdown Rule and sponsor our show? We have some spots available. Please email us at info@boxbid.io. Once again, that's info@boxbid.io. Boxbid is an online platform that helps professional boxers connect with their fans by providing exclusive Fight Week merchandise, memorabilia, and sponsorships. You can even buy a shout-out on boxbid.io, who handles our sponsorships, and we are proudly working with boxbid.io. Mario, you finally made it happen. Dana White, always a very interesting, informative interview.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an all-around great guy, too. Busy guy. That's why it's taken a minute, because we do the show on a Monday. It's got to fit into our schedule just because we've got a lot going on. But, yeah, I'm excited about the future.
He has a lot on his plate,
sport.
though. UFC, boxing, slap.
The slap league. I mean, the big fight at the White House, which is wild, and now on Trump's birthday as opposed to 4th of July. So, yeah, a lot going on. Combat sports is looking incredibly exciting. I think it's going to be more prominently featured, mainstream more than ever. And happy to
I'll make a prediction right now. The White House card, that'll be the toughest credential with the greatest security clearance ever for any event. Boxing, UFC, Muay Thai, any event. That'll be the toughest credential to get in the history of combat sports.
Final flurries.
Moving on, final flurries. Mario, there was almost a chance you weren't going to be here this morning.
So I was in New York for the last few days. It's already cold there, by the way. Had some business to take care of. I love New York. When I went with my cousin Alex, and I celebrated my birthday there. My brother-in-law happened to be in town.
Now
so
here's
we
the
got
thing.
together.
Before we get started, did you hit Sbarro's? Great New York slice.
So much food. There's just I ate. I felt like I was on Game of Thrones. I ate just so much in some of the incredible places. So what's the popular in New York right now is there a lot of private clubs.
What are they, like speakeasies?
Well, in the sense that you pay, it's ridiculous. You pay like $5,000, $10,000 to be a member of these clubs, kind of like Soho House, but they're sort of next level. And you go, you hang out, you're drinking and stuff, and you can eat dinner. They have rooms to watch the games. So a buddy of mine who's a big, he's like king of New York. Shout out to my guy Noah Tepperberg out there. He owns Tao Group. He's got all these Tao, Lava, all these great restaurants, and he's got this new one called the Crane Club. And these different clubs, they'll serve different people, right? The corporate guys, Wall Street guys, his sort of more the athletes and artists, right?
Yeah.
When we were getting there, Post Malone was sitting next to us and stuff, and it's just sort of leaving. So it was cool. So we ate there and had an amazing dude. My brother-in-law, when we were there, there's dudes that play chess like inside as they're watching, and we were watching the Dodgers game, and he was playing some dude chess right there to beat him. He was very upset about that. But a storm came, what do they call it?
A nor'easter?
Nor'easter, yes. Came. Dude, the winds and stuff, we were stuck on the tarmac for 2 hours.
Well, that's not that bad.
Hold on. Stuck on the tarmac for 2 hours. Then, I should have led with, prior to that, we were delayed another 2 hours before boarding. So you're 2 hours before boarding, and then 2 hours there, so another 4 hours. So I didn't get home till like 2 in the morning, which was crazy. I was able to sleep a little bit kind of on the plane, but it messed me up when I got there. And so I woke up, I'd rather take an ass whoop when the alarm got up this morning, but I'm feeling pretty good, considering. And I'm back, feeling good. And I was out there working for this company, Hone Health, which is great. Shout out to my guy Saad. They're all about optimizing your ultimate health and longevity. As I've gotten older, Ken, now I'm all about I want to live as long as possible. Did I discuss this last time? I think we discussed it on the radio show. But you know, in Japan, how many people are in Japan? What's the population of Japan? It's probably less than California, right? There's over 150,000 people now that are living over the age of 100.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You know why, though?
Over the age of 100.
I know why.
Why?
Sake and fish.
Sake, fish, And
they smoke.
Well, they move they do smoke a lot. That's a significant.
Oh, they got like
amount.
123 million people.
Dude, 123 million people. That's a lot of people, actually.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was less than
So
that.
did I. I thought it was a lot less.
No, they crammed themselves in like
but
sardines.
California's what? California's about 100, maybe 80. I don't know.
Well, the U.S. is like 339.
Yeah, California can't be. But nonetheless, over 150,000. Living over 100. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
they're doing something right. So I think we're going to see a shift of the average age of people living. Dude, you and I can be hanging in there. Maybe 110,
by the way, happy
115.
birthday last week. And for the record,
Oh, thanks.
52, right? I heard 52. That's
52,
that's
player.
really not that much younger
Ray
than
Lewis.
a certain guy here that's,
Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Listen, since you're 62, you got a good decade.
See, there we go, Mentirosa.
I'm feeling.
Look, you're both significantly older than me.
Yes. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to be a lot smarter about my workouts. Try not to get injured. I'm tired of these surgeries, man. But so far, so good.
Yeah,
We've heard that for 13
tomorrow you'll be
years.
sparring 8 rounds. But anyway,
No.
you know how I like the Screwy Rabbit, Bugs Bunny, greatest of all time. You wanted to bring up Black Rabbit.
Oh, dude. So as far as the next show to watch, did you watch it yet, Frazier? Yeah. You have Netflix, right?
Yeah.
You got to watch Black Rabbit with Jason Bateman and Jude Law.
All right, give me the skinny.
Both are great. Two brothers.
Okay.
One that's trying to stay on the right road. The other one that's taken a darker path. He's come back into his life, and mayhem ensues, and it is so good. And one can get of each other's way, and you get so pissed off. Trust me, you'll like it. Both of you will like it. I don't want to give too much away. Coincidentally, it was based off of my buddy Noah Tepperberg. It was based off of a friend of his in his restaurant because it all takes place in New York.
Okay.
It's good. If you haven't seen it, that's my next recommendation. Just watch it.
Rabbit.
You'll binge it quickly.
Also, rest in peace to a legend. Diane Keaton passed away.
You know, this year, I feel like more celebrities have died this year than in years past, right? Frazier, we're always talking about, it seems like just an abnormal amount of celebrities have gone down this year.
Like a lot of the ones that we kind of grew up watching and stuff, like they're all hitting an age.
Right, they're at an age where you're much
And it's
closer
all
to the
happening
ending
at the same time
than the beginning.
Yeah, it just all seems like 2025 was rough as far as the celeb world and people passing.
What is she best known for? Godfather?
Well, probably for our audience, but she won an Academy Award for Annie Hall. And she's been in a bunch of Woody Allen movies, and she remained loyal to him during all his drama and all that, which I respect.
Father of the Bride.
But yeah, she was Kay and The Godfather and married to Michael Corleone, and that's what.
She also directed a lot, right?
Yeah, she directed. She decided she never got married.
But she
adopted some.
She was
some
in her
kids the
80s,
50s.
right?
79.
Okay, that's at that age. Like, you've lived the full life. Like, late last week.
Yeah, but based on what I just said,
well,
you're not in Japan.
Well, that's again, she probably didn't smoke enough and drink enough sake and have enough fish. Like, you know what hits me is like a guy, and it really took me back to my childhood because I didn't know he was sick. There's a ball player by the name of Mike Greenwell, played for the Red Sox, a really good player. I think he made an All-Star game or two. He was only 62, and I saw on Twitter that he passed away.
That's really...
And I'm thinking, man, that guy's not that much older than me. That's where it really hits you.
No, that's like your age, so that's really...
Shut up.
That's really tough. Speaking of ball, dude, Dodgers.
They're rolling now. No one's beating them.
Well, dude, the Brewers...
No one's beating them.
Brewers beat them 6 times. They faced them this year. Had the best record in baseball. That's why I was putting them for the Cubs. But they are rolling. It's a different team, different season. I mean, the postseason and stuff. So we'll see. So I'm excited about that. I don't really get into football until after the World Series. But we got one more before the World Series. And then my Chargers kind of got back on track.
Good.
Both starting running backs, Najee Harris and Mario Hampton hurt. Rashard Slater and Joe Alt, their team, hurt. Khalil Mack hurt. The dudes are like decimated out there, but they found a way to win.
You got to find that would have been a bad loss. You know why? Because if you start 3-0 and for the first time you're kind of ahead of everybody, you can't give those 3 games back.
No. So that was a big win.
And you're playing a bad team. It doesn't matter if it's home or away. You got to win that game.
They managed to win that game. When I was in New York, by the way, the Giants impressively beat the
Jackson
Eagles.
Dart. I don't know how long he's going to last with that style. Because he kind of plays like Josh Allen, and he's not really that big.
Did he go to Oregon?
No, he went to Ole Miss.
Oh, he went to Ole Miss.
He originally went to USC, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
Portaled out.
That's right. Where did Scattaboo go?
Scattaboo went from Arizona. No, he went from Sacramento State to Arizona State, and now he's a rookie sensation.
Dude, he's kicking ass.
Yeah, he's a rugged guy. I call him modern-day John Riggins. That's only because he's white, though. Doesn't really run like John Riggins. But anyway, that's it. By the way, when are you traveling again?
I'm here for a while.
Okay.
I think I'm here for a while. Thank goodness. I don't want to have to get on a plane. Maybe not till after Thanksgiving.
All right, we'll have a good time. Anyway, that's it for this week's edition of the 3 Knockdown Rule.
Fun show.
Very fun show, very informative. And again, if you want to sponsor our program, email us at info@boxbid.io. On behalf of Mario Lopez and Smoke and Tim Frazier, this is Steve Kim saying till next week, goodbye, everybody.